unorthodox as it was, your parents were giving you an education that you didn't want. It's like, buckle up, motherfucker, because here you're going to Dachau at 6. Hello, everyone. Hola, mis amigos. You're listening to Oh My God Hi, Hijo de Dios. Hola. With me, George Lopez. Porque, ¿sabes qué? Let's do the show. Porque I got a lot of things to do. I gotta go to that dry cleaner ahí. My kid fell. Se pegó la cabeza. I gotta go get some Neosporin Paul.
You know what George is?
Oh, I'm sure he's around here somewhere.
What's his name? George.
Lopez.
George Lopez.
Oh my God.
OMG.
OMG. Hi.
Oh my God, hi.
Our guest.
That was you. When you got out of the car, I was like, is that George?
I know. I fucking know this guy, man.
All right.
We're so everywhere in Vegas together, baby.
Dude, but didn't we know each other in Chicago? No? With Jimmy Dore? No.
I might have known you. Yeah, we might have done a show or two there.
But in Chicago, we were fucking... Did we go out with that lady that one time we drank
That was
all?
Vegas.
Was that you, me and you?
Yeah, that was
it
Vegas.
was.
See, we're gonna have to know that story.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All fucking night, man.
Dude, I remember Vegas.
Do you remember what I was doing? I went downstairs to go buy some candy, and then I ran into somebody, man. You or somebody, and then the girl, that blonde lady.
Yeah, that tall blonde. Yeah.
And I
What's up there?
can we talk about this? Can we talk about
I
this?
would love to
I don't
talk
even
about
fucking
this.
hardly remember. But I do remember, but I don't remember. I mean,
I remember, and we can tell this with the show. I remember we got so lit. There you go. Hi, I'm Graham, by the way.
Hi, Graham Gilcrew. Pleasure.
How are you?
Absolutely.
Ethan.
Hey, Ethan. How
I
are
think
you,
we
man?
knew each other in Chicago, dude.
Yeah.
John DeVos.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Dore.
Yes.
And at the Funny Firm.
Yes. We worked together at the Funny Firm.
That's right.
And then I moved
then-
out here in '95.
And then I started seeing you on TV, and I was like, look at fucking Graham. And I was like, fucking hey, man. You know what, man? Like, that's, I mean, listen, this was a different time. So many people you saw on TV you didn't like. It was fucking finally good to see a guy up there that you didn't mind. Look at, change that fucking channel. You were fucking amazing,
Thanks,
man.
dude.
And it's
Thank
funny,
you.
man, because like you don't see anybody, and you don't know where they are. Like I think of it like this is the thing that pops in my head. I think comedians, and we'll talk about all that, but a little bit like a Keno ball in that big thing that the balls are just bouncing around, huh?
Yeah.
And then eventually one gets sucked up to the top.
Right.
But it could be me, could be Graham, it could be somebody else. And it doesn't mean that number is going to hit. That number could just be a pilot, could be a script order, could be a fucking holding deal, could be a development deal. You could be your own worst enemy. And then you get really one. It's almost like in fighting where the dude says, hit me with your fucking best shot. Because if you don't, he's going to fuck you up.
Yeah.
So you got to make that punch last. You got to make it count.
Yeah.
You can't be like, hit me with your best shot. All right. He's like, that's it? You know what I mean? So you got one and it's fucking hard, man.
Yeah.
You see a guy all fucking hammered. What do we end up doing? Where do we end up going?
I remember
To the Crazy Horse?
we were in Vegas. So the first time, I knew you in Chicago, but we had never worked together. It was
We were around guys.
we were around the same
club.
guys, same
Yeah.
guys in Chicago. Funny Firm, because I worked that club,
Yep, I love the Funny Firm.
which was an awesome room.
Like we talk, so Len, the guy that ran the Funny Firm,
Classic club owner.
was he? You only saw when it was time to get paid, or I did.
Yeah.
He paid you in person,
Yeah.
and then you went upstairs, and then there was a door, and you had to knock, and they would check and see who it was. I think maybe he buzzed you in, and he was sitting behind a desk with a pile of money on the desk, and we were done for the night. Call each guy up, right?
Yeah.
And you go in there, and what would he do? He'd just say like, "You did great."
Yeah. Maybe there's a bump or a bonus or whatever. But that was also 90s, so almost all the business was cash. So these clubs would have, 10 grand in cash or whatever, just sitting there.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that you guys prefer that. Is that true?
I wasn't stupid enough to steal back then
Yeah.
because I needed every dollar. I wasn't like, trying to hide anything.
Yeah. I mean, I liked it. But I remember but Len then, had a little bit of a gambling problem, and that was part of the reason the business.
Is that what it was?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Because it was a great club.
Oh.
Not there anymore?
Great club. No, it was a Quiznos.
Oh,
yeah, it was a
shit.
400-seat club.
And that's a 400-seat Quiznos.
The 400-seat Quiznos.
The fucking Quiznos.
The Monday.
The biggest fucking hottest Quiznos of all.
Everyone's there Friday night.
I mean, I saw, who did you see in there? I saw
Bill Hicks. I saw Bill Hicks there.
I saw Bill Hicks there.
I was in the back of the room watching Bill Hicks
Was
as a
he
young
on a
comic.
weekend like when it was full?
Oh, it was packed.
Yeah.
He was packed, and it was and I was there with Jimmy Dore, and we were like in awe watching Hicks, and he just went on this rant, and he was just cutting everyone up, and then he goes, any questions? And Dennis Leary had just popped, and Jimmy Dore goes, what about Dennis Leary? And Hicks goes, well, it's good to see my act from 3 years ago still working. That's a dead quote. That's a stone cold quote from Hicks. He said that,
Wow.
and I was like, we were all like, did he just? And again, this is before social media.
Right.
That would have gone viral now.
And you know, a lot of people don't know who Bill Hicks is, but if you're a fan of comedy, there should be a Bill Hicks podcast. All things ATBH. All things Bill Hicks. This motherfucker was dynamic, courageous, never smoked like a motherfucker at a chimney, never raised his voice high. And I remember he was there, and I saw him on a Wednesday night when there was nobody there. And he did the same act as if there was 400 people there. And to see him in a club at any time, and I remember he said that religious people would yell at him, and they would say, "You're fucking not funny, you're a stupid man." And he would say, like Christ, "Forgive me."
That's great.
It was fucking beautiful, man.
Yeah.
He called
We
out
talk
the
about-
first Gulf War. I mean, he was calling out the first Gulf War, and he took a lot of heat here, and then he went to England, and he kind of blew up in England.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It was
But
amazing.
he was a fearless. I mean,
Oh, God.
You know, there's no dudes. I don't think there's any guys like that working right now because you might not have known who he was because he did a Letterman. I mean, you don't want to know when you're a great fucking comedian when you do a Letterman that never airs because
Yeah,
it's too edgy to air.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Like it was about abortion, about religion, and he was done, and people went crazy, and CBS like, well, that will never see the light of day. So I hope you enjoyed it because it's never going to air.
That's something I would love to see out of a vault, like that
Oh, yeah.
set that they banned.
And that's
Pardon?
they aired it right when he
did?
passed.
Oh,
They
okay.
did.
Oh, cool.
We should show it.
That's
We should show it. We should watch it and show it.
Well, I was thinking we should actually just start All Things Bill Hicks because it's already All Things Comedy. So I just feel like it's
I think
the
All Things
umbrella
Bill
is
Yeah.
there for it.
And who did he hang with, man? Was he with anyone?
Well, he came out of Texas, so he came out of like Houston, I believe.
Kinnison and
yeah,
those guys?
Yeah, he came up with those guys.
Andy Higgins and
I believe so.
yeah, there was a bunch of Houston guys. Sam Kinison. Did you ever see Sam Kinison live?
No. Never saw him live.
So those guys, there was a good Houston thing going on
Yeah.
in Houston with comedy. And, Bill Hicks's brother, Sam Kinnison's brother and those guys all came out of there.
Yeah.
And it was almost like, San Francisco had absolutely great comedians.
Yeah.
And then you go to Houston and they got their clubs and they got a fucking community and they got comedians in their city.
I think that's such a cool thing when that happens because there'll be a couple of really strong comics and it just makes the whole scene and the whole town, everyone's like, well, this guy's just throwing fastballs. I better,
Right.
you're in the back of the
That's
club going, I better bring it. And Chicago was like that when I was a young comic because I saw these older comics that were like pros. And then you got to work, you got to hang out at the Funny Firm and see guys like Hicks come through town and all these guys that I saw on TV. And I think as a young comic, when you watch like, I saw Emo Phillips, I saw Judy Tenuta, I saw like Judy Gold, I saw all these people from TV, like MTV Half Hour Comedy Hour, all those shows that I was watching when I was in college when I first started doing stand-up when I was 18, and then I'm in Chicago and they're just on stage and it's just like boom, 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 and you're sitting there going, I better bring this. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So how did you decide to get into comedy when you're 18?
I knew at a young age I could never have a real job. I just knew it. I just couldn't.
I know.
My mom tells a story of I said I'm never going to have a job where I got to wear a suit, and then, I was the class clown.
Yeah.
I played football in high school, so I was the funny. The locker room guys were. You know, my high school was 40% black, so the talking smack was big, and you had to bring it if you showed any sort of weakness in the lock. So there was just a lot of that, and then
what did they call it back then?
Oh,
what do they call it? Like talking to like capping or
they call it capping or rank. In my school, they call it ranking on each other.
We used to call it crumbing on each other.
Crumbing on each other.
Never heard that.
They'd say, man, are you fucking crumbing on me, motherfucker?
I like that. Sounds like somebody's like eating over you.
And
like,
dropping shit on you.
Dropping shit on you. Like, that sucks.
There you go. How about the visual of that one, man? It's like,
yeah.
Hey, man, you fucking crumbing on me?
Yo, you're getting crumbs all over me. This sucks.
Pretty good. I haven't said that, and I haven't thought of that in forever. And that's what it says. Hey, that dude's crumbing on you. Hey, fuck, man, don't be crumbing on me.
Who's crumbing on me?
Right?
Get that shit off me, man.
So I think you learn. I mean, I think you learn from people who. I think the African American community, and Latinos, I think they're just some funny ass people.
You've got that. So I had the African American community, and then I was Irish Catholic.
Yeah.
And Chicago.
That helps too. That's fucking.
It was like Irish, Italian, and Jewish. So it was like mob guys. I knew guys that dads were in the mob. So the ball busting. Chicago's just it's a slightly nicer New York. It has that nice Midwest charm, but it's still like everyone's kind of jabbing at you.
What was the description? What would you say? Is that what you would call it?
I'd
they say cleaner New York, but fuck that. I mean, the people are better in Chicago.
It's a Midwestern New York. It's still because the thing I say about Chicago, it's in some ways, and this is a compliment. It's still the biggest city in the Midwest. It still has that Midwest charm. Your neighborhood bar, your neighborhood diner, and everyone's like, if you know a guy, they'll bust your balls if they don't know you. But once they know you, then it's like you're my guy. You know what I mean? And I got a guy. Let me tell you my guy, show you your guy, and we all get these guys together. And that's Chicago, kind of like everybody hangs out and knows each other. And I knew Chicago cops.
So you knew Chicago mobsters and Chicago cops. You were kind of like
they're the same.
It might have been.
I'm here to tell you that straight up. Same guy.
They go like they turn the hat around.
Well, it's just like
going to work. Here, turn it back around.
Well, it's just like you walk in a room. It's like there's Paulie, there's Timmy, there's Mikey. Mikey's a cop. Timmy works for the city. Paulie's city's in construction. And you're like, they're all.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, my sister dated a mob guy's son.
Oh.
And we had moved there from Wisconsin when I was like 11. So I was still sort of Leave It to Beaver. And I was getting this like crash course in the city. And they were like, I remember we all went out.
If you come from Wisconsin and you end up in Chicago, you're like, Leave It to Beaver, and then you go to Chicago.
Yeah, and it's like.
And they got the L, they got the trains, they got the fucking neighborhoods. And
and this is the 80s, so my parents were divorced. My mom was just like, all right, honey, ride the train. What are these kids riding the train all through Chicago in the 80s?
Wow.
So my sister dated this guy, and then I wanted to get my hair cut like his because he was older and he had this cool 80s haircut. So I went to, and I go into this barber shop. Now I understand it was a mob shop, and he's like, oh, you're Johnny's friend, and they're being all nice, and they're like, tell John I said hi, which now I realize he's going, I want the old man to know I'm helping out his son's girlfriend's brother. 2 months after I got that haircut, it was in a hotel in the suburbs. 2 months after that, there was a mob hit in the parking lot.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And who was it?
I don't remember, but it was like, one of those guys with the old school nicknames, like
fucking Louis the Lip.
Yeah, Johnny Two Knuckles or
the
whatever.
Weasel.
Yes.
The Weasel.
And they gunned him down outside of his Eldorado Cadillac with his rose tinted glasses and all that. Like it was.
Maybe it was because you didn't tell Johnny that you got your haircut by the barber.
Yeah.
You didn't make good on that kid's haircut. Boom. They took him
I was at Rosemont when I first started to do bigger places, and I in Chicago I did
Rosemont.
The Oriental Theater. It was called the Oriental. That's not me saying something inappropriate.
You're not describing
it. Oriental Theater. And then I think I did. I don't think I did the Chicago Theater, but then I went and did Rosemont in Outsiders, and that's a great place, 4,000 seats. And the first time the guy said, "Hey, you sold out a couple of shows. I'll have to have you come back, huh?" We're in the parking lot. He goes, "Yeah, we'll have you come back, and I would love to have you." And he does this, and his car starts. It's way over there. I go, "What the fuck is that?" He goes, "Chicago, baby. I turn it on to make sure it doesn't fucking blow up."
Oh my God.
Turn it on and let it run before I get in.
Turns it on from distance.
And I go, so we were talking here because he had to start his car over there. So if it did blow up, it didn't. I mean, he knew to keep a distance. He
Right.
starts it up, and that's the first time I had ever seen anybody with an automatic to start their car because they could get blown up.
Yeah, Rosemont was created.
You got an appointment or what? I see you looking at your watch.
Well, it was ringing on my watch.
You want to talk more about it? So. Oh, que la verga. Please take your blood pressure medicine now.
I'm also getting a message that beers are ready. You want some beers?
Oh yeah, let's
So
go.
what's up?
I think that's what Gil needs. That's what Gil was getting. So
Rosemont's a mob. Like they set that town up.
What?
Oh yeah.
I know there's. Well, it has everything in it. Has an arena, has a stadium, it has an Italian restaurant with the big rose, the fucking on the outside. I mean, you're right. It is. And then there was a field that looked like a field. And next time you go back, it's one of those commons like the Grove, and you're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
this was a field.
That's what
And
the
it's
Zanies
all-
in Rosemont is now. They just built there from. Yeah, that's.
There you go, because I think the concrete, the business, the parking, why have an empty?
It was different. I've only been to Chicago once. That's when I went a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
And the cops were different than they are out here. I really
How would you
enjoyed.
say they were different? Like what?
They were closer together.
personality.
They have personality, closer brotherhood. It was just a great working group of people to be around for cops.
Yeah.
You know, over here people are after each other. You know,
Yeah.
I want this job. They were together.
They were together, yeah.
And it was good. It was a good feeling.
One of my landlords was a Chicago cop, and he was the really nicest guy. And I remember one time I was coming up because there was a two-flat, and I'm coming up the exposed staircase, and his name was Phil Greco, and he's just peering through his window.
Greco.
And I go, "Hey, Phil," and he goes, "Oh, I didn't know who you were at first, Graham. I was about to blast you with my 38." And I was like,
Oh shit!
I was like, "Oh, okay, that's Phil."
Wow.
That's Chicago. I used to do.
How
a
about
whole
that voice?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I want to talk
What
to
was
that
he
guy.
wearing? Like shorts and a
He had
t-shirt?
shorts and a tank top. It was the summer. Yeah, he'd have a tank top with maybe like a short sleeve shirt open over it, and he'd be like, you know. And again, I remember one time we were coming to get the cable fixed or something, and I was like, I had to get the cable guy in the downstairs, and he's like, we'll have my cable guy come by. You know?
Fucking A, man. That's right.
I mean, Chicago was. I got busted for a drunken disorderly, and I dropped his name, and they're like, "All right, kid, don't."
You can't do that. They hear that.
I don't know. You know, I went out to dinner at this nice steakhouse that you had been to before, and I sat there. There was a semi-retired lieutenant from Chicago PD there, and he was waiting to see what his penalty was. They tried to give him 30 days on the bricks. He said, "Fuck you, I ain't taking your 30 days." And he says, "We'll fight this one." And he's like, "I got a lot of juice," and he wanted us to drink. And I said, "Well, I don't want to get all fucked up tonight. I got to fly out first thing in the morning." I was coming back over here. And he said, "Not a problem. You wake up late. Hey, we can hold the plane up for you." He says, "Got juice." And,
Yeah, that's juice.
That's Chicago, baby.
he said,
That's
we can
Chicago.
hold it up a little. When I got there, somebody had the wrong time, and the cop that went there to pick me up didn't see me get off the plane. So they sent a cop inside to walk the plane to make sure that there wasn't a mix-up. And so they took care of me. And this guy,
You know, they don't do that here. I've never seen a cop walk the plane.
no, he went in, walked the plane, made sure I came in on a different flight. The lieutenant eventually, I said, "Well, shit." He said, "Where you at now?" I said, "Well, now they've reduced it. They want to give me 10 days. And I got enough time to retire if I fucking want." He was running a security company on the side. Made more money than he was as a cop.
Yeah.
And so he just says, "I don't know what I'm going to do yet." He says, I still got about 20 more days to make up my mind." He says, "I don't think they're either going to let it all go or I just may walk." So I talked to my contact back in Chicago last month, and I said, "And John?" He says, "Oh, he walked. He took the retirement, didn't need it anymore, and said goodbye. Now he's just doing the security stuff, making his bucks."
What does the you've seen the 1190? I know what the 1199 Foundation is, which is a great foundation for slain officers in the line of duty, their families, and their children. But what does having the frame on your back license mean? Because everybody's got it.
Right.
Back in the day, you probably could pay. I mean, I shouldn't say it. You could probably donate some money and get a frame. and you saw them on higher end cars. So you go, okay, there's somebody who said, I know somebody, maybe Chief Gomez, it's Highway Patrol, whatever.
I think
whoever.
it's a Highway Patrol. The 1199 is
the 1199 foundation of the Highway Patrol. And to get one of those, when they pulled you over and you saw the 1199, the CHP officer would alleged, maybe like, hey man, how's it going? Who do you know? Maybe, right? Who do you know? I know I knew Chief Gomez back in the day, and I didn't have a thing though. But does it work?
I don't know because
I don't think it works
I never
anymore.
worked patrol. You know, where any of that shit was.
But
flat.
do you think it works? If 100, if 200 fucking people have it,
give you. I think they're going to give. You know, they're going to give you a little bit of courtesy to find out. Hey, you know, who are you? What are you doing? If they can realize within the first few minutes, hey, that's just. Then it's not going to mean shit.
Okay, in comedy, like in police work, like in detective work, like in the medical profession, like in any business, there has to be an instinctual pulse that says, that's not good for me. I'm not going to go there. I kind of go here. You know, I don't think I'm going to do that. Why not? You're crazy. It's not. Doesn't feel like it's the right thing for me. I have a friend of mine that was a highway patrolman, and he pulled a guy over, and as he was walking to the car, something inside of him said, go this way and don't go this way. And he looked at the guy was kind of like this, right? So whatever the body language of the dude was, he said, oh shit, I'm gonna go over here. But the guy's looking, he can't see over here, he's looking right here. And when he goes around, the fucking dude had a fucking 9 like
Sure.
this, like this. Like he had his arm on the wheel. He's just like, whoa. And he saw that and he said, motherfucker, put your hands, we'll drop the gun, fucking this, whatever. And he was gonna kill me. Like he even said, I was gonna kill you. He said, I know. I fucking, something told me to go around the, but he gave himself away. He was like this. He was like this and not like this. So body language,
Sure.
you gotta be able to see it.
You do. And what they do, when they stop you, you're by yourself, they put that spotlight on their mirror so they can't see back
reflect.
there.
Yeah, that's good too.
But it's always better if you're by yourself, put that right there and then walk around
I think that was during the day. I think it was during the day.
Yeah, you walk around on the
10 over there, yeah.
passenger side so they can't, you have a better perspective looking in when you look across as opposed to, you can't see right behind what's the door, what's behind that door.
That's why every cop's ever told me is both hands on the wheel when you get pulled over, so they can see.
That's
your
always
hand.
sharp. That's always
So
a good
you can
move.
see my hands.
The sheriff's department had, as did LAPD, we had a frame that said KMA 628. That was
I saw that.
Yeah, that's the radio response. That was the frequency for the radio the cops used. So that if you had a license plate that said KMA 628, you knew that you were related to something belonging to the sheriff's department. Sherman Block used to say it's stupid to put that damn thing on your plate. Because then anybody who knows anything about police work knows you're a cop and you're a target. And guys were using it to hope, if you have a little violation of law, hoping that cop would sit there and say, he's a cop, it's traffic violation, don't mess with it.
How did you get your first, talking about that, how did you get your first TV? Like you moved out so you did it there and you moved where? You moved here?
So I started in college, and the first time I ever did stand-up, there was a college comedy competition that was emceed by a guy in acid wash jeans and a mullet named Judd Apatow, and it was amazing. I was 18, I did it in college, then I moved to Chicago, started doing it there, saw Hicks and everybody, then I moved out here in '95 and just started working.
And where did you live?
I lived in the Valley. I lived in like North Hollywood.
You found a place? You came out here and found a place, or you?
I came out with two buddies of mine that were like, and we were in a sketch comedy group as well. They weren't really, they did some stand-up. And we moved out, and we found a cheap apartment in North Hollywood.
Wow, man.
My share of the rent was something like $300 or something crazy like that, And I sound like an old man. Gas was a nickel, and we all we grew our own shoes, or whatever.
Yeah. Fucking A, right?
But then,
and then you guys started just going to the clubs. Like you go get the what that thing was called, that fucking magazine that had all the things in the back.
Oh yeah,
The drama log.
yes, yeah, that one. I got that. Again, Backstage West.
Backstage West. You know how the not one now, the LA Weekly now has all the little massage parties. They have, you check. What are you looking for? I was looking for a guitar right here by the Sun Kim fucking massage place at the Guitar Center. And then the dead giveaways, they have those fucking candies that they only have a massage. It's almost like a KWA fucking thing. You come home with one of those candies, like you're going over there getting jacked up at that fucking Korean place. What do you mean? Look at that fucking candy with a fucking panda, motherfucker. They don't sell this fucking candy at any regular store.
Dead giveaway.
They go, that's why they say you want to candy? No thanks. Try to give me a divorce. Nobody knows that's supposed to be. Go wash your hands. Nobody knows that's supposed to be here. But so they give that shit away. And also in comedy, like you're fucking digging for shit. You find a thing, you dust it off. You're like, what is this? You find your own, trying to find your own voice. Like what were the things that you gravitated you, and were they the things that when you were growing up that you liked?
I mean, I definitely I got on stage as often as I could.
You weren't afraid?
I was like, yeah. Well,
I was scared.
By yourself or with the sketch? Like, were you guys doing live
first
sketch?
it was. Well, my parents were theater people, right? My dad was.
There you go. There you go.
So
yeah.
I was on stage when I was 4. I was in a play that my dad directed, I think, or it was in. They needed some kid, and they always tell the story. I didn't want to go on stage, but they gave me M&Ms, and as I got M&Ms, I went on stage. And so my family, I was the youngest of 4.
Fucking Charlie Chaplin over here.
So
he's out there with a hole in his shoe. Now fill it with these fucking chocolates, son of a bitch.
so I just learned how to work my parents for candy.
But But were you afraid or anything, man?
I mean, I was a little bit.
Did you know what you were going to say, or did it come to you naturally?
We performed a lot. We would do plays.
Gil wants to do stand-up. I think you and I, because Gil said, write me some stuff. And Momo said, fucking Gil gets on stage, motherfuckers, like, he's like fucking Gia, that model that OD'd. She loved the fucking crowd. Like, oh, Lord. Fucking clapping. Like, hi, everyone. I caught the Night Stalker. Hello. What have you done? What have you fucking done today? So there's things that I was fucking scared to death. Like, I can't imagine being comfortable at an age that you were young enough to understand what you were doing, even, which sounds like what you had.
I mean, I was kind of scared. I was scared, but I don't know. I loved it, and I there was a lot of things. I did a TV commercial when I was like 8 for like this famous footwear, this local shoe store.
Can we find it and put it on?
Yeah,
God,
throw
if I
that
had
up.
it, I would put that on my reel. It's me holding up a Puma going, I like these. Like, it's the 70s, man.
That's awesome.
And you went on an audition, and there was a bunch of kids that you still remember?
I think so, yeah. And
because over here they leave a flyer in your car. They go, kids, you ever thinking about getting into the acting community? You show up, they got you in the fucking back. Damn, fucking culos all fucking torn. God damn. And don't come back. You're like, fuck out. Well, let me fucking heal up and make a decision then. But I mean, it's like we fucking suckers, man. They fall for anything, man.
Yeah.
Robert Powers, that motherfucker. Hi, Robert Powers. I'm Robert Powers acting school. Sorry, I got some cum on my shirt. If you have ever thought about the hot lights and cool scrotums of a grown man, come to the Robert I shouldn't even use his name because it's a real dude.
No.
yeah.
That was a real pitch.
When you first moved to LA, you go, wow, you see.
They're fucking. They're looking for people. So somebody would see you and go. So tell me, I'm new to LA. Fucking already. Bing.
Yeah.
They fucking like, you got some money. You came out here. You said, well, let's take his money.
Everyone comes at you. The Scientologists, like everyone's trying
Did
to.
Scientology come up to you?
Yeah, for sure. I was.
They should open a comedy club and let's see how they can.
Yeah.
Let's see how much horror comics are. They go in there.
You know there'd be comics and they're going, hey man, they let me MC, I get free dinner. You know what I mean?
Not so bad.
It's not so bad.
They're pretty cool.
I mean, they give me free e-meter readings.
Do they? I mean, did you perform at the Scientology Center?
I got an audition when the first year I was living in LA, and I had this agent who was like, just sending me on anything. She'd always send me on this like leading man shit. So I'd go in this, I was in decent shape, but I go in these rooms, these guys are ripped. I'm never going to be that good looking. Like, come on. I go, comedy, submit me for comedy shit.
Right.
But she was like, we just got to get you on anything. So she sent me on all this stuff that I would never get. So she sent me to something, and it was at the Celebrity Center.
Do you think that people like that, this just occurred to me, do you think that people like that maybe get $5 per actor that shows up?
Probably. Now I look back.
Now you look at it, right?
Yeah,
because somehow they get the flyer and they say you bring us guy, we'll give you $5 a person.
I
and then
wouldn't
you
doubt
settle
it.
up. I think that maybe that.
I wouldn't doubt
They're not
that
doing
at
it
all.
for nothing.
I think she did get busted for like doing kickbacks on headshots or something like that.
That's right, because that's what they want. Then you get somebody and then they say, where's your headshot? Oh, I don't have a really show. We got a person you could, and then so go ahead. So what they
Or
said
they do this game. I keep submitting you, but you're not getting called in. I think you need new headshots. Maybe some acting classes, and this guy gives you a discount.
And then you're like this, and they fucking mech right here on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Just fucking take that. That day they didn't have computers, you could just take it out. And what's this? This is for best foods. I believe it was clam chowder, but it's hard to say. It's hard to say. So what did they submit you for?
So what did and they're like, it's at the Celebrity Center, and I was like, wait a minute. I was already
Which
aware.
is a fucking great place, by the way. I mean, on
You
the
like it there?
outside.
Yeah.
I haven't
okay.
gone in.
Oh, I haven't gone in.
Because I may be. Listen, I might be homosexual. I don't know. If a dude kisses my neck, I think I'm in. Like he's gonna grab the fucking potato and fucking go right in there, man. I don't know. It's hard to say until you've been in an accident. You know how your body's gonna react. I would think. But the Celebrity Center for the property, I drive by it every day. For the property of where it is in Hollywood, it had to have been a master fucking hotel back in the day, Humphrey Bogart and everybody in there, because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
When you look on the outside and there's 200 fucking windows and every shade is drawn, you're like, that's
Something's up.
Yeah, too many shades drawn.
Something's
up. And it's up, and it's not anything normal that we're used to.
Right.
We're in California, the fucking shades are down.
I was
problems.
like growing up,
Allegedly, I'm
living
saying.
in Chicago and seeing how things really worked. I was inherently cynical, and I'm actually talking about this in my act. And I'm shooting a special at the end of October, and I talk about my parents took me to Dachau when I was 6.
Wow.
We lived in Germany.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, I know.
Whoa.
Put your shoes on. Bring some tissue. We're going to Dachau.
Here's M&M's. Yeah, every M&M. Then we're.
Hey, here's some M&M's. I don't want to go. You get your. You want
the
some
green
fucking
one?
peanut M&M's, you motherfucker, with some peanut butter in the middle. Get over here.
We're going to a concentration camp, kids.
Wow, man.
Wow.
Yeah, I do
Can't imagine.
a whole thing in my act, and it's become the through line of the special I'm going to shoot is how I had a college professor dad, and this happened to me when I was 6, and so it's made me very cynical. I have a dark view of the world, and so at a very young age, so my dad had a research scholarship. He had a Fulbright, and we were living in Germany, and So the joke I make in my act is when you have a college professor parents, everything's an educational experience, right? So we're in Germany, all we did was go to museums and castles, and I was like, doesn't this place have a goddamn water park or some shit? Like,
The fucking arcade.
something,
Yeah,
go-karts up
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
bitch, like something.
You invented the fucking Autobahn, motherfucker. You don't have a place to drive a car?
Something, big
No,
wheels.
we're walking around a
Castles were
castle.
made for small people,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Because you walk through them,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, I'm ducking everywhere because I went through a castle.
Gil goes like this. I think I'll just stay out here.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, I'll walk around the other side, but we can go.
I'll stay on this side of the moat.
It's tiny. Huh? It is.
Yeah.
There is
Very tiny. And then, so we went to, my dad then took us to Dachau, and, my sister was 14, my other sister was 11, which is like, okay, those are maybe the ages to start learning about the world. My brother was 9, I think that's too young. I was 6.
That's what 6 is. You've only been in the world 6 years.
6
You're
years.
learning about the most horrific
Awful.
thing that's ever happened in the history of the world.
Like, I'm 6 years old walking around like, there's the ovens, there's the,
Man.
Yeah.
And so,
The shoes that they have,
Yeah.
the fence.
and they have photos up there showing like, this is how they live. You're walking through the bunks.
Yeah.
And, as a little kid, I was a sensitive kid. I felt the energy of that place. And so I think I've always felt that kind of energy. So when I moved, and then in Chicago, seeing like how the mob really ran things and how, how stuff was really done.
You really do see how it is, right?
You see, there's no joke.
Nobody gets in the business that doesn't have an agenda.
Yeah. I mean, when I was right out of college, I was waiting tables at a pizza place, and all the cops stay for free.
Right.
And the delivery guys would park in front of the pizza place, and it was a no parking zone. And every once in a while, the cop would put fake tickets underneath so his watch commander drove by. It was just a whole scale. Chicago's just one big, everybody's
racket.
greasing everybody's palm, and that's just how that city works. I just assume that's how business is done.
When did cops stop eating for free? When one of them bitched about the food?
I don't know. I remember one of my partners for years, he...
You call this medium well.
Right there in Hollywood, Mario was the owner of the Roxy, and... Okay, so Mario said my old partner was walking a footbeat in the rain. And he says, hey, come in out of the fucking rain. And so he took him in. He says, you hungry? He says, well, yeah. He says, okay, we'll give him some. He goes to pay for it. He says, what the fuck are you doing paying? They don't pay back there. And he'd come out here, got all his, he was a bag man back there for the judge. He got all that money, turned it into positive stuff, started running busy. The Roxy and the Rainbow were right next to it. He owned both of them.
They're still there, yeah.
And then he opened one in Vegas. Well, that's how he...
There was a Rainbow in Vegas, huh?
Yeah. He explained to me how he met my partner, and my partner was taking me down. He says, you fucking cops out here are stupid. Back there, nobody pays for nothing. You guys don't even come out of the fucking rain, and you pay. So it wasn't like that out here.
People that may listen to this, if you are coming to Los Angeles or if you live in Los Angeles and you've never been to that part of the Strip, the Viper Room is going to be torn down. And they're going to put apartments there, I think. So if you've never been to the Viper Room, go to the Viper Room. It's fucking amazing. It's haunted. So Momo, if you're out there, when you're done with your fucking second lunch, bring your paranormal dude and go out there, because they're gonna tear it down.
I'll go with you, Momo. I'll go with them down there.
And they're gonna and it's a great place to see music.
Yeah.
I took Slash, not to drop names. But I took Slash like in 2010. Ace Frehley was there, and at the Viper Room, and I think Slash was always on my talk show, and I said, let's go see him, man. So I went to go pick Slash up, and we picked him up. I drove him. We drove to Viper Room. We get in there, man. It's Slash dry, he's got the hair, things, his glasses, and there's a little guy that's a little fireman, but it's a shorter fireman. He goes, hey, Slash, remember me? And Slash is like, nah. He's like, fucking nah, man. Remember when you got T-Bone right here at the top? He goes, yeah. In the Pathfinder, he goes, yeah. He goes, I'm the dude that climbed in the sunroof and pulled out your leather jacket. Whoa. And Slash goes, fucking hey, man, thanks. And I said, you got with that guy. I said, you guys got T-boned? He goes, yeah, we got T-boned. And the thing is, we were sober, and the dude that hit us was fucked up. They were sober.
Wow.
And they were going on Sunset. The dude was coming up like Doheny, and boom, fucking rolled them. They were in a Pathfinder.
Wow.
It's crazy.
And
well, since it's closing, let's all go with Slash.
Let's go.
And Ace Frehley to
let's
the Viper Room.
Let's go see who's going to be over there. But they have Monday nights where like dudes just play, different guys play, but they're going to close it down. But if you haven't been to the Rainbow even to go eat or have lunch, maybe fucking around with like a Hard Rock. Fucking, they still have the booth where Led Zeppelin, you can see the pictures on the walls where Led Zeppelin used to sit, where Kiss, all Elton John, all those motherfuckers were in there.
I came out to LA when I was in college. I went to college, University of Arizona, and my first time in LA, and my buddy's uncle was like, we got to go to the Rainbow. And we go into the Rainbow, and I see all these producers with young girls, and then at this booth, I'm not making this up.
Motherfucker, don't say it like that. Have some respect. I'm a producer, goddammit.
I was like, no, amen to these men.
All right,
amen to these guys.
We'll leave that in, Aaron. Go ahead. So what?
And in the booth was Billy Joel and Axl Rose.
Whoa. Sitting
next to each other having a conversation. They were, and I was like, I couldn't, and they were talking shop, and I was like, because I was I was 19 or whatever, so I thought, they won't get along. They're different genres of music. No, man, they're just pro musicians talking shop. It was awesome.
How did it look? What were they wearing?
They were on brand.
Billy Joel
was nice suit.
The dark under his eyes like an Uncle Fester that could play the piano.
Lean. This is like 89 or something like that. And Axl, full Axl, headband, like he's in Axl gear.
He was just yelling the whole time.
You're in the jungle, baby. He just looked at me and I ran out. No.
But that place is historic, the Rainbow and the Roxy, where they did Up in Smoke. Cheech and Chong did that that
They even
song
took
in
me.
there?
Mario even took me upstairs. It was a private room upstairs where they used to go do their business upstairs.
But they got their dick sucked everywhere. They're not just upstairs.
Yeah,
they
well,
did that booth over
Oh
there.
yeah, he was. I heard a lot of stories. He was telling a lot of stories. Who was there?
that dude? Mario? What? He didn't have a last name. Mario.
He was an Italian.
Mario.
It was an Italian last name. He was married to the same lady for years.
I think Lou Adler owns it. Who owns the Rainbow and the Roxy right now? I think it's in Lou Adler's family, like Lou Adler, Italian, I think Lou. But so
he was
his dad.
he was a good guy, yeah. And he passed away a few years ago. And before he left, he opened up another place in Vegas.
Did you ever meet Bill Gazari?
No.
Because the Gazaris is like the key
Gazari,
club
yeah.
now or whatever that was.
Okay.
And Bill Gazari, man, they used to have like wet t-shirt contests and fucking longest pubes fucking contests over there, girls. Fucking wild shit over there, man. Gazari, and if you look up Bill Gazari and you look up, he always wore this hat, dressed like a mobster. He dressed like a fucking mobster in a fucking tuxedo with a thing and the hat. Hey, I'm Bill Gazari. And all the chicks were nice to him.
Yeah.
Because he's Bill Gazari. But Van Halen, the Doors, all those bands, the Beach Boys, the Turtles, all the bands of bands.
I was
have
young, but
performed there.
he had to play
Whiskey.
Gazari's.
That's right.
Yeah.
The whiskey. So you had the whiskey on the corner. Then you had Gazari's, and then you had the Roxy, the Rainbow, Van Halen,
Yeah.
all of the bands, all the bands.
That's awesome.
And the Starwood on Crescent Heights in Santa Monica, which is not there anymore. It's a Russian.
Yeah, that was all on.
Yeah.
Out of my league, that was all on the west side.
Yeah. But I mean, people come here to go visit some, places where, the Walk of Fame, of course, but they're not there. Go to eat in a place where you can see a picture that Jimmy Page and the guys in Led Zeppelin were there with 11-year-olds.
Dan Tana's.
Dan Tana.
Oh, Dan Tana's,
was another
man.
place where they used to go eat and have dinner.
That's right.
Lou Adler and his son Nick own it.
That's right. I know Lou Adler.
All right, get him in.
They own the Roxy?
Yeah, they own the Roxy.
Okay. This is something that I always thought about, and it's funny how this works out. On the way over here, I was driving over, and I thought, I don't think I'm going to do another special because what's in it for me? Like what, But I think I would do one if I could do it at the Roxy.
Throw that out there.
Yes.
That would be badass.
Yes.
Okay.
So Lou, I'm going to call you. Some motherfuckers not listening. I'm going to call Lou Adler, and I'm going to ask him if I can do a special at the Roxy and then have the after party at the Rainbow.
Hell yeah.
And have a dispenser at every table, so underneath.
Dude, that would be a great special, especially if you told a bunch of funny stories about
the location.
Oh, the strip. Yeah.
like it's like a homage to that.
I think you sit at the Rainbow and hold court and then walk over and do the special.
Yes,
That sounds
and you could
sweet.
intercut between that if you wanted to. You could tell story, and then dude, I love that.
Yeah, halfway
That'd be-
through, slow-mo shot of you walking
across.
from the Rainbow and just cool-ass music.
And
George
then-
Lopez,
sick.
Sunset History. I don't know. I just looked it up.
Sun,
Hey, good place to
Something.
sun, moon, massage. Don't take the can. That's what it's called.
start. Such a long name.
stain. With a little
There's
stain
still
on the
fucking
left
stain.
shoulder.
Yeah, your VIP passes. They put a sticker on you that's white. Fucking crema.
Scientology,
So let's go.
indoctrination.
So we didn't get to the Scientology.
right.
I know.
So-
you think I was the one that was fucking interested in here? so go ahead. So you go.
So after doing the doc on the Chicago thing, so when I moved here, I was like, that's a cult. I was just like Scientology. I was like, bam, I don't trust that at all.
But also, as what they call it, as unorthodox as it was, your parents were giving you an education that you didn't want. It's like, buckle up, motherfucker, because here you're going to Dachau at 6. So I'm sure up until they split, everything had a thematic. You're going to go here, we're going to go here, we're going to go there, we're going to go there, and then so get ahead. But right, I would say that everything that they were trying to do to you were trying to make you guys worldly.
they made me very, I understood the world. By the time I was about 19, 20 years old, I was like, oh, I get this stuff.
Much more secure than a normal 18 or 19-year-old.
Yeah, just some regular suburban college kid would have never.
Right, never had that kind of.
Because when I went to college at University of Arizona, I was hanging out with guys that grew up in, mainly
Right.
white suburbs or whatever,
Right.
and they had no clue. And I was like, oh no, I go, that's a mob joint. And they go, what? I go, that's a mob joint.
You guys are naive,
You guys,
ignorant.
what do you mean? I go,
idiots.
I go, walk in. There's a bunch of guys in jumpsuits in the middle of the day. Like, what are you talking about? It's a mob joint, or like.
Why would they all be at the salon, guys? Let's talk about it.
Those guys have manicured hands. There's a reason for that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, no, but it's true. It's true. It's true.
You see that stuff. So when I came here, I was like, Scientology. It's and I I had people come at. I had like, oh, I'm young here.
Where would they see you? Like on the street, or
I had some acting class or something like that, or
Yeah, I'm sure.
a party.
I'm sure they have satellites. Let's call them.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Alleged.
Little birds.
Where they go to parties and they go
Yes.
to
Definitely.
comedy clubs and they go to things and say, if you're on stage and somebody's in there goes, hey, I just moved out from Chicago, and they're
Yeah.
like, okay, ping, you
Yep.
know.
Oh yeah, they got the They got their radar out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then I got sent on this audition, and I was like, all right, I'm going to this, but I know this is going to be crazy. And the audition was just weird. The building was weird. The way, and I was like, so, and the copy was like weird. I was like, I've read some dumb shit before, but this was like off.
Yeah.
And I said, so is this for Scientology? They're like, oh, it's just sort of an educational video kind of a thing and a movie. And then they started dangling the like.
But you know what? But that's a move.
Yeah.
That's a grooming thing.
Yeah.
Right? They say, let's say alleged. Can we put alleged in there, if I don't say it later? Because it is, now that you look at it from like that, right? It's a fucking,
Sure.
I mean, it's a method that they have.
Yeah, they're fishing.
Yeah, they're fishing.
Definitely.
And even I'm way more savvy now. Like I have a friend of mine who was a cop with Phoenix PD for 24 years, and he was a child crimes investigator. And I've had him on my podcast a couple of times to talk about like Epstein and stuff. And now it makes even more sense, just all the stuff they're doing. But they just had all of this, and then I saw like, it cost $2,500 to get clear or whatever, and I was like, oh God, I was raised Catholic, I know about scam religions for money, like come on.
Yeah.
Like come on.
How come Jesus is wearing a bracelet?
Yeah. It's like,
Don't look at that.
it's like,
Look at his suffering.
it's like that Carlin bit, like Jesus, God loves you, but he's short of cash, like
Yeah,
it's Carlin's bit. So I was skeptical. And then a friend of mine, I always try to do like volunteer, be of service, right? And I was like, oh, we're going to read to inner city kids. This was like a year or two after that audition. I was like, oh, cool, we're reading. It's cool. We're helping. I was like, I felt like, I was blessed that I had parents that paid for my college, and even though they took me to Dachau, I still like.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You had no choice either, so you just want, it's what it is.
So I was like, I was born with some privilege. I got to give back. And I did this for a couple weeks, maybe even a month or so. And then at this reading center, there was this one book, and there was this like other library, and I was like, is L. Ron Hubbard the author of those books? And they're like, yeah. And I go, so is this affiliated anyway with Scientology? Well, and they gave me a flim-flammy answer, and I was like, oh, you couldn't give me a direct, you didn't say, no, it's not. They
Yes,
donated
it
the
is.
books.
Yes.
They just said, well, we, in some conjunction with this, but not, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, you can't like maybe be with Scientology.
Yeah,
You're kind
it's
of like with it or not.
Is this a drug cartel business? Well, I mean, sort of a.
Well,
I mean,
wouldn't say.
Entirely.
I thought that would be insulting.
You can't really be certain about anything these days.
We're more of an export business.
Yeah.
It's just like.
I mean, we export it in our asses, but it still gets there.
It's still just like Amazon ships it. We ship it in people's buttholes.
In our culos. Yeah.
It's like, again, my sister, boyfriend's dad, I remember asking him before I knew, didn't know yet about like mob. I said, what do you do for a living? Oh, I'm in the construction business.
Yep.
Like, I remember that. I remember we all went out to dinner at an Italian restaurant and they never dropped a check. Because as a little kid, I always remember the dads arguing for the check at the restaurant.
Yeah.
There was no check drop. And I remember the older brothers had to go talk about a thing. I remember all of this stuff.
We'll talk about a thing.
You know what I mean?
Everyone's talking about something.
And I was like, and they had the white collar shirts. They all looked like guys from the movie Thief. And I was like, So after having all of that indoctrination, so when I'm in the Scientology and I start getting flim-flam double talk, I go, Okay, so it's this is a Scientology.
Yeah,
joint.
same kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, they're still out there. I mean, they're because of social media and all the things. They're harder to really kind of find. I think maybe 10 years in the maybe late 2000s. I went to the Hilton and we went I think we might have been a day early, and I'm like, is there a place to go get some Italian food? And the guy says, you want Italian food or do you want Italian food? I'm like,
I don't know.
You better answer correctly on
I
that.
want Italian food.
Yeah.
It's a little bit further away. I said, great. So we went, and I think it was in Goodfellas. I think where he takes Sharon Stone down the stairs in that bar with the red end tables in the bar that
like long one
in
shot.
Casino.
Yeah.
Casino, yes.
When he's dragging her down the stairs, it's in that restaurant.
Wow.
So there was a guy in there. I won't say his name, but his name started with little before his name. Little . And great. I go there. He meets us. Great guy. Knows me. Great guy. Come in, eat. We drink. We laugh. He sits down with us. I said, hey, I'm at the Hilton, man. Hey, God bless. But you know, unfortunately, I'm not able to go in any of the casinos. I said, what do you mean? He goes, yeah, you know, it's a little. What do you call it? Racketeering charge. I said, well, so what does that mean? All right, I'll say it. You know, I can't go and gamble on anywhere in the world. I said, what do you mean? He goes, like on a ship, on a paddle boat, at a fucking church. I can't go to. I'm not welcome in any casinos in the world.
Wow.
So you won't be coming to the show Friday. I can't. He loan sharking, racketeering, and there's another, maybe the RICO, some shit, but he was banned from establishments that had.
Yeah.
Even if you said, I bet you can't climb that ladder, he couldn't fucking watch the guy climb the ladder. He couldn't be around any betting. And I don't know what happened with him, man. He was a good dude. We hung out for a little bit. He actually had a television show. Oh. Him and his wife and stuff, and then I'm not sure, but he was a great. I mean, listen, man. Aside from all the people that he knew in Vegas, which also the Las Vegas Country Club was in Casino, and it still looks the same way when you're playing. You can say, "Oh, this is where the plane landed," and they're chasing the, and it stays the same way. It hasn't changed much. It stays the same way. But as things change, like the Mirage got bought by the Hard Rock Cafe. And I performed at the Mirage for years. And then now they're going to make it a Hard Rock, I believe, with a guitar hotel.
Oh,
so there
wow.
won't be anything going on there for like 5 years. But when it opens, the Mirage had the thing of the fire or the White Tigers.
Yeah.
That's like, turn that page in history. They're going to have a fucking guitar hotel on the Sunset Strip. And that'll just lead to the next phase of how big can we make these places and, you know.
Wow.
Bugsy Siegel lost his eyes for $700,000. He was over, and they said, "Fuck, kill this guy. This is some bullshit.
Yeah.
This guy's wasting our money." For $700,000, billions, hundreds of billions of dollars,
Yeah.
trillions of dollars through Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So
That's.
it all started right. It all started somewhere.
Yeah.
In comedians and in Vegas, in places where they had. Shows and music, they would be, bands would play, and guys would, Joe Mantegna was in a band in Chicago, and what did he say? Oh, he said they played all the standards, and then there was a band that was playing their own shit, and they got fired, and then they called Joe Mantegna's band. He goes, "We'll be right over there." They all wore the same suits, and that band was Chicago.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So he's like, that was fucking Chicago's like trying to play fucking da-da-da-da-da. The guy's like, hey, I didn't pay you guys for this bullshit. You're fired. Hey, Joe, can you and the 5 heartbeats get over here?
5 heartbeats.
Yeah. They come over there. They're in their big the fucking same haircut of the thing. They fucking play forever. But it was Chicago, the band.
There should be a podcast.
That got pulled in or got fired?
Chicago got fired, and Joe Mantegna's band went
For
in.
playing their own shit.
There should be a podcast on all the guys that did that. Like, these 4 guys from Liverpool, enough. I'm sick of listening to this cat music.
Schmucks who passed on, huge talent.
The guy how about the drummer that got fired from The Beatles, Pete Best.
Oh man,
He was in the Beatles.
that's tough. Have you seen the? We talked about this a little bit on our show, but the Metallica podcast or the Metallica documentary, because they interview the guy that played with them at the beginning.
Oh wow.
He played with them when they, for like 2 years, and they've just blew up, started destroying.
What's that called? Some kind of monster?
It's on, some kind of monster. It's on
yeah.
Netflix. But then, he like talks. But then the bass player quits, and he talks to them for the first time, and it's that kind of thing where it's like, what could have been, and now everywhere he goes, he sees Metallica. He hears Metallica. It's like they're the biggest band in the world. And
Was that Dave Mustaine though?
Yeah, because he made Megadeth afterwards.
How do
right?
I know these fucking things?
Damn, that's impressive.
I watch enough porn.
Music pull.
How does Dave Mustaine get in my head when I'm watching so much
I never
porn?
should have watched so much porn because I don't know any of this shit.
Screwed you up.
I fascinated myself with George. I live vicariously through you. You know everybody. The only one you haven't known thus far that I've known that I didn't know, but the Queen. That's the only one you said you hadn't.
You met the Queen?
No, I didn't.
I met the Queen.
That's the only person. You met the Queen?
Yep. I have a picture of me and the Queen. Hang on a second.
Oh, I thought you said
I
you
knew
never.
I knew it might come up. So I said,
let me
The guy
search
said
this
he
down.
met the Dalai Lama.
Really? You met the
I
Dalai?
didn't say I met the Dalai Lama. I met the Dalai Lama.
There's a big difference. That's awesome.
You know that, right? I showed you the picture.
Yes.
That's cool. You met the Dalai Lama.
Yeah,
Man.
keep listening to the show. We're going to make a master
You met
list
the
of all
Dalai
the
Lama.
Are we?
most impressive people that.
I'm satisfied with meeting you and George. Here we
I
are.
mean, I hosted cable game shows. That's pretty much on par with the Dalai Lama.
you
I
must
think.
have met like Trebek.
No
or somebody.
way. Dude, that is awesome.
yeah.
Holding hands, making all kinds of plans.
That's awesome.
I saw him speak, but I didn't get to meet him.
You
That's
did
cool.
meet the Queen? I thought I asked you last week.
I met the Queen. Let me find a picture.
Let me open up the Queen folder. It's me and all pictures of me and the Queen.
Any other royal
I was just telling
dignitaries?
somebody yesterday. That's the only
Yeah, I met
name
the
I
Queen.
mentioned that he didn't know.
Royal folder.
Got him.
There's a Queen right there.
For those just listening, that's a picture of George with Gill.
Right before he went, put his fucking tacones on and walked out of that room. Yeah, he actually came in the room to ask you how to bandage his heel.
That.
I met the real Queen though. Mr. Elton John.
Hell yeah.
Sir Elton John.
Sir Elton John. Sorry, Sir Elton.
Hell yeah.
That last picture was taken, I believe, at the Mirage.
Oh, cool.
You know what? If you believe that, don't ask me why I have a picture of Anthony Anderson t-shirtless
With a Rasta
in a
hat.
Rasta hat. You know, these things happen. You know, you don't know how strong those pills are when they come right out of the
I'm not
factory.
judging what you do in your own time, George. You know what I mean? How a man conducts himself.
I mean, how are we? I mean, this is like
God damn.
this is like
You
this is
called
like
me
sexual healing right here. Robert. This is sexual healing. Hey, Anthony.
Great photo.
Hey, Anthony, you want to sit there while Marvin gets changed? And then he was a stand-in for Marvin Gaye.
You called me the fucking Queen. Jeez.
Look at that.
That's a compliment.
Look at that.
That's good.
A separate podcast would just be George
That motherfucker's
Lopez's
driving
phone.
around with
Yeah.
all his
George
windows
Lopez's
down. It's
phone.
120 fucking degrees.
Did he have his mom with him? He's always got his
I
mom
think
with him.
his mom might be with him.
I hope he's like just in like Stars and Stripes underwear underneath that. Like that's all. he's
Yeah,
got.
more than likely.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
Are we past Scientology? Yeah.
Well, I have a final
sure.
question
Hey,
because I've been told that they like follow up with you relentlessly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Once you get, it's like the mob or any cult. So it's and I'll give you another
Don't
story.
say cult, though. Alleged.
Alleged.
Yeah, alleged.
They.
But they have an agenda.
Yeah.
So they came after you for a while?
And what's the agenda? To get people to do shit for nothing?
Well, it's like any alleged.
Alleged.
CULT is.
What's your personal
They're
opinion?
not after fat people, I can tell you that. Nobody's contacted me.
Hang on a second.
We can make a change.
Where? Where do you live? In what town?
It's like
They're
so-
opening a Scientology torteria. Give you a fucking lifetime membership. All the tortas he can eat.
That's a good deal.
And what does he have to do? They just walk in. Black pants and a white shirt and a little black. Okay, so. What about Momo? Too fat? Okay. They don't have an extension. All right, I'll tell him thanks. I don't know. I haven't seen this patient. have seen one. I didn't want to think of it.
I want to see the Scientology tortilla. That's what I
I know, same. I would go there.
It's probably
There I
good
would go.
food.
Oh,
That I want to check.
Number 36476 Mars. That was a fucking good one.
was
You always
good.
have when somebody calls, they're like, cool. They're like, all right, thank you. Right?
Yeah,
I haven't done it in a while.
that's great.
That's gold.
oh,
pure gold.
shit.
So where are we now? Where are we? And you know what? And it looks like we haven't missed a beat. I haven't seen you in
I know.
30 fucking years, probably.
I know, dude. It's been forever. I think I ran into you at the Super Bowl in San Diego in
Yeah,
2003
yeah, yeah.
or something
Whoa.
like that.
Yeah, right on. That's right.
Yeah, that's only about
The Raiders
20
and the-
years
and the
ago.
fucking Tampa
which is
Bay,
crazy.
When Gruden took the playbook, went to coach Tampa and fucking ran the same. and the Raiders ran the same. And the Raiders ran that same fucking play. We got one first down. I remember the Raiders went like this. First down. Fucking everything went that way. And the worst part, I went with ABC, so I wanted to leave. They go, no, the bus leaves at 6. Motherfucker, fuck, it's 3:45. Well, it's leaving at after the game. Awful.
Sorry.
Good game if you're. I mean, it was good. Well, it was a blowout. We won Super Bowl, but Carlos Santana played at halftime.
That was a great halftime show.
Great halftime show.
That's sick.
I'm a Bears fan. I just remember I bet Tampa Bay in the over and I made money. That's what I did.
Hell yeah. Congrats.
So you gamble?
Not anymore.
Oh.
I used to.
You don't? Do you gamble?
No. Blackjack, that's it. But
But people bet games, man.
Yeah,
No, I
people go
don't-
crazy now.
I don't
Prop
do
bets
that.
and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's wild.
I'm not-
Can you
Hell,
bet
the
on your
weirdest
phone
stuff.
and all that stuff? Like
I
FanDuel
assume
or
so.
all those things. Are those still things
That's all on the
still
phone. That's all. That's the whole MGM just started. It's all to get you on your
Whoa.
phone betting during
there's
the
a
game.
new coming up, the new election, whether you can 26 and 27.
I don't think
whether
it's a
you
good.
can-
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't think it's a good idea.
I don't either.
Because
No.
you
Oh,
can
no,
lose
bro.
your house in your house. How about that?
Yeah.
They'll come take it.
There
as
you
you're in
go.
there.
Right? You can fucking sit there.
Oh, yeah.
And just he misses a field
just-
goal and then
Yeah.
yeah, so we're gonna need.
Damn it. The minute it crosses during the fucking guy's like,
I told you they would be here.
Guys, hang on.
I told you they would be here.
It's wide right.
Oh, crap.
We're gonna need you to sign this. This is.
I don't. You know, do they still break legs and things like that? You think?
Oh yeah, I would imagine so.
I don't know if FanDuel does, but maybe.
FanDuel probably has some guys for that just in case.
But they
Yeah,
get,
the
but you have to-
enforcers.
but it's more. You know what? They get their money first.
Yeah,
so
they get it up front,
You
you're
can't
right.
open an account unless you put down your credit card and all your information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have your money already.
Yes.
Yeah.
That might mean the old enforcers must be bummed out. They're like, oh,
Oh, yeah,
this
they're out of a
FanDuel,
job.
I can't break a guy's knees anymore.
Yeah.
Big screen on this phone though. No. And then what else? Were you married? Did you get married? Were you ever been
Yes,
married?
I've been married and divorced, no kids.
Why did where did you meet your wife?
In Brazil. Yeah.
And she was Brazilian.
Oh, yeah.
That went on.
Oh,
She had big
did you
titties?
have big tetas?
There you go. She had big titties. We always ask. Sorry, it's a thing.
It's contractual.
It's a thing. We always ask. Since I was 11 years old. Did she or not? Probably not. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
This Brazilian women.
And
Yay.
and where did you guys meet? In Brazil?
In Brazil,
You were
yeah.
on vacation or you were working?
I was down there, and I had a buddy that I grew up with who is married to a Brazilian woman. And
Who
they
had a
lived in-
sister.
yeah.
and they lived in Manaus, which is in the Amazon, which is hot. And so I went up there, and I met her, and I was like, "Whoa, Brazilian women." It's,
And was she the same way? She was like, was she into you? You were
oh
into
yeah,
her?
yeah. She was like, yeah. It was. You know,
Take me out of here.
it's Brazilian. Oh my God,
Take me
Brazilian
out of
women.
here.
It's I see why the State Department is so strict on the visas, because if they came up here, they would take this shit over. Like nothing would get done. All these American men would just be like, bye.
The bread's not ready yet.
Yeah.
Let me check again. All right. Que culo, que culo.
The Brazilian women, like, they just have this femininity about them, and this like, oh, you're so handsome, and you're just like, "Gong." Like it's.
And how long were you guys married?
We're together 5 years, and we're still friends. It was like.
It was too much. It was like a whim.
Well, she moved up here, and it was like, you know, you know,
He's all pictures, all running through his head.
it's.
At his balls.
And
Yeah.
his balls.
I would say any American
And the little
man,
ojito at the tip.
if you're single, you should at least go to Brazil once. That's what Uncle Graham will tell you. Just go.
And
to
I'll tell
advice.
Gil, if you ever get divorced, go to Thailand because you'll fit in over there. They'll rub your stomach and they'll jack you off.
At the airport.
I've been to
The
Thailand.
Buddha has come to life.
I've been to Thailand.
Just don't take any fucking candy, son.
They do that at the Hyatt. At the Hyatt.
Yeah, right at the Hyatt lobby.
The Hyatt.
Oh.
Oh, man.
They'll put you on a pedestal.
I've been
They'll
to
rub your
Thailand.
head.
I want to go back to Brazil.
Brazil is.
Let's go back to.
Brazil's. I loved it there. I speak a little Portuguese now, and yeah.
I will say that there's a woman who's in the Blue Beetle, very young, a model actress, and she's incredibly beautiful, and she's Brazilian, very well known in Brazil. I don't want to say her name, but in Puerto Rico, which is on the way to Brazil, we would have to get COVID tested for the Blue Beetle, and there was a nurse that would come, not much up here, blue scrubs, knock on the door, open the door. I wouldn't even let her in, just kind of in the doorway, do this. And when she turned around, oh, like the biggest James and the giant peach, that fucking peach. Oh. You could see her ass from the front. Like, see it start to round up. And you're like, she's wearing a cape? Is she wearing a fucking cape? Why is it rounding up over there? And when she turned around, she had the perfect ass.
I'll tell you what, and they take pride in it.
Scrubs.
I'll tell you, my wife and some of her Brazilian friends. So we lived in Santa
I would
Monica.
jack off at the tail, Jordan.
I got another sample for you.
The doctor said I need to keep this one. Sorry, ladies. But you know what I mean? I mean, gorgeous, right? And they're not ugly. They're not. First of all, forget about ugly. No one in Brazil is unattractive. Even a homeless dude with no teeth. Fucking Rod. Around.
Great shape.
Great shape.
Yeah.
No pelitos hanging out the back. Right? Connect the two. A little spark goes out. You connect the two pubes coming out of it. Only in Brazil, though.
But I remember.
But they are incredibly like if people. I mean, I don't know who listens to this, but around anywhere, they're the most attractive people in the world. I'm going to say.
They're very yes. And I remember we were at the beach, and my wife and her Brazilian friends were making fun of American women's bikinis, like nice, cute bikinis. They're like they cover too much. They were like, because in Brazil it's like, yeah, here it is, check it out. And they were like laughing at these American women who had nice, cute bikinis on, laughing at them like they were like swimsuits from the 1920s. Like,
Right.
I'd have
Because
jumped on the Brazilian side.
oh boy.
But they don't have anything. They have their little thing, like a little fucking tortilla chip right here with the little strings.
That's it.
And the two little fucking. And when
That's
you get
it.
vaccinated, they put the little Band-Aid on you.
That's it.
The little circle one, right? That's it.
That's it.
So when you went out, guys would look at her.
Sure.
Here, because it's like you take somebody from Brazil and bring them out here. It's like Marilyn the Munsters. The hot one, and then the family's like, look at them. So because a Brazilian hot chick in Southern California. Because there's beautiful women here,
sure.
but you have to go someplace to see them kind of together, to a club or somewhere. They're not going to be anywhere. Go to a dry cleaner. You're not going to see anybody attractive at a fucking dry cleaner.
Yeah.
I'm not even taking that shit back. I mean it. A Former's Miller's Outpost. That's now a Quiznos. But I mean, when you bring somebody like that and they walk in, their features are different. Their body type is different. And then if you think she's beautiful walking by and you look like that, then you see her ass, you're just like, oh my God.
And the way they carry themselves is
very
they just walk in with this just like, and you're just like, even a really beautiful American woman who walks in and knows she's beautiful walks differently. These Brazilian women just come in with this just like, and you're just like.
I love that. We're going to do that on the loop.
Yeah.
Well,
Sample
before we
that.
start for 5 minutes.
That's a good idea.
And then, but where did you get in Brazil?
No, we got married here.
Were your mom and dad here?
Yeah.
Were they happy you were married a Brazilian?
Yeah.
Okay,
My dad spoke 3 languages, and so he liked speaking.
He wanted her too.
Yeah,
What did he speak? He spoke what?
Spanish,
English,
Spanish, and German.
and he also spoke. Oh,
That's my boy.
That's a language in its own. If anybody should speak now. Yeah. But they are, I mean, your wedding picture, you wore tux, you were the whole thing, or
Yeah, it was a
very
little
casual?
small little thing on the beach. She had a beautiful dress. I wore a suit. She, it was,
And when you get married, so you did the whole, you got on your knee and you said,
I proposed to her in Brazil.
you were on your knee, would you say, but in Brazil they go, you turn around.
No, I learned how to say it in Portuguese.
Can you tell the person in front that I want to spend the rest of their life with them? Then take a couple licks. Turn forward. Are you gonna ask me to marry you? Not if you don't turn around. Bend over a little bit, right? I want to spend the. I think we should spend the rest of our. Or at least till my fucking eyesight goes. One or the other. Not till death do us part. So my fucking eyes can't see this. But and then so you got a ring and everything. Was that important to her, the size of the ring or
No,
the thing?
she didn't. She didn't. She was like, nah, that doesn't matter to me. She goes, I just want a gold band. Like.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was really cool, it was. It didn't work out for a lot of different reasons, but we're still friends. She's a really cool person.
You guys are still friends?
Yeah. Like when my father passed away 2 years ago, she did this. She called me and she said, "Your dad was so nice. He
That's cool, man.
it was really.
It's respectful,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody who's Latino that's been divorced that can look at the side of the other person. Hi.
Stand by that.
Is there a personal experience?
It's just the way. No, it's just the way they are. Yeah. They'll say, "Okay, you go with your mom on honk Sunday, you run out."
Honk Sunday.
Right? You see it, right? It's just a thing. It could be cultural, maybe. I think when you're not used to opening up or talking about issues, things become fiery. Instead of saying, can we talk about this the way we,
I even had a case where the lady she divorced her husband, but she hooked up with his cousin. And every time he'd come to pick up the kids,
that's awful.
Make out right in front of him.
Oh.
It stopped on a Sunday afternoon after Super Bowl.
He fucking
got there. He hit him with a shotgun.
What's the sound of it?
Bacate, cabrón. You want to fuck you? Bam! He shot her.
The police show up and go, so what do you remember? I remember heard the sound bacate. Okay, hang on a second.
And then
P-A-K-A-T-E.
So he blew the guy away or the wife?
He blew the guy away.
Not her?
No, blew the guy away, walked a block and a half to the gas station, told the gas station attendant, call the cops. I just killed my brother-in-law.
Wow.
I was up for murder. It was within less than a mile away from my house. Whoa. I went down there, had the crime scene, everything done before my partner even got there. Hey, here we are. Let's go down. Went down.
Were you in your fucking shorts or did you dress like a detective?
No, I dressed like a detective,
okay.
and we got down there. The guy copped out to the whole thing, got it all wrapped up in one day. Bye.
Was he just like accepting that he was going to do time, like take me?
Oh yeah, he knew. He knew. He was just tired of her doing this and his cousin doing it in front of him. Wow. This was it. It was Super Bowl Sunday. I don't know if he lost a bet.
No, Super Bowl Sunday is the most violent day of all.
Yeah.
But he did it. I got it done. Easy case.
Wow.
So, do you think in a case like that, that killing that guy and knowing that he's dead satisfied that guy, so when he went to prison, he could say to himself, I'm here, but that guy's not here.
Exactly. There's no doubt in my mind.
There's a thing there.
He was satisfied. He accepted it. He did what he did.
Fuck it.
You ain't going to do that no more.
Wow.
Didn't care about his wife.
I wonder if he still feels that way, though, because I feel like after being in jail for like a decade, you might be like, maybe I could have just talked to him.
Do you think we could talk to anybody from death row? Like, do you think they'll call us? This is a call from Soledad prison.
Yeah.
You think? I'd like to talk to somebody.
We could hook that up.
I think
that'd be an interesting
especially
call.
if criminals are, revered, let's say, in this world of crime documents and crime podcasts and what's all that stuff.
That'd be a first for a podcast.
We've taken a call from prison.
I want to see if I've been watching a lot of Chris Watts from Colorado. Do you know who Chris Watts is?
Does he do that?
No,
Chris Watts.
I almost hate to say it. He murdered. He murdered his family. He worked for an oil company in Colorado, and he's in prison. He put his kids in oil tanks.
Oh,
yes,
I remember that documentary. He denied it.
Yeah.
And all he had to
then
do
he
was
finally
just,
copped out to it.
all he had to do was divorce his wife, and then he killed his kid. Like, it was crazy. Like,
I mean, there's a fascination, but then also he had a mistress that walked away free when she deleted everything from her phone, all the messages, all the pictures, and then she got interviewed by the police, who they never read her rights. They should have. And she's like, I don't know why you guys want that stuff. Like, why do you want it? Like, it's it's not important to this. It's like, bitch, you were fucking the dude that was married and they said, why did you delete all this stuff? Because he lied to me, and if he could lie to me about this, what else could he lie to me about? It's like if somebody told you that, what would you say? It's like, you know what? I'm gonna read you. I'm gonna hold you, which I can hold you for 72 hours. I'm gonna read you your rights. Even Chris Watts, that dude, never asked for a lawyer. All he had to do, they said, "Are you be willing to take a lie detector test?" He's like, "Sure." And all he had to say was, I like to speak to my lawyer, and the questions stop. It would have been a different vibe, right?
Yeah.
The questions stop. They had him in that room. They were switching him out. They were doing this. They were wearing him down, and he I mean, clearly you could see he was nervous and all that stuff. But it's fascinating to people that this guy. I mean, whatever. I think because you can't say it could be any one of us, because we're not going to do that.
Right.
But it happens in a fabricated neighborhood in Colorado. In this woman, and also she was a mid-level marketing person that sold that stuff that you make no money.
Right.
All her friends blocked her. All his friends at work blocked her because every time you talk to her, she was trying to sell you something. So like, so all that fucking weighs on you, and then you just fucking snap. I think a guy can, right? I think a person can take so much. Maybe, depending on your circumstances.
I don't care. Let them do it. Just give me the case and let's work it.
So you weren't you couldn't ask a guy after, like, why did you do it? Could you?
Sure, I could ask a guy why. Even if he invoked his constitutional rights, that just means anything he says can and will be used against him in the court of law. However, if he were to take the stand, in his own defense, like some suspects do.
Has that ever worked out?
Nobody's ever taken a stand in their own defense in any of my cases. But if they did, like Richard, he invoked.
Oh, wow.
He invoked
the Fifth Amendment?
No, he invoked his rights to Miranda.
Oh.
Not to talk to us without an attorney being present. However,
he caught the Night Stalker, right?
Yeah.
He wanted to continue
amazing.
talking to us, and we said, you can ask questions, we'll answer them, and we carried on a conversation. Judge Peter Smith, in the preliminary hearing, said that we had violated, it was the biggest violation of Miranda he had ever seen in all his years on the bench. He's full of shit because...
Why did he say it was? It didn't come without a legal purpose.
Well, it was his legal opinion, it was. However, we couldn't use anything we obtained from Richard during those talks.
Do you have another beer we can give him so we can
against him in a court of law. However, if he took the stand, everything he told us after that Miranda rights could be used against him in rebuttal. So long as we didn't use anything he told us in the case in chief, we were good. So the judge was wrong. But we never tried to use anything. We didn't use anything. But had he taken the stand, then we would have.
But a judge's opinion isn't the law. The law is the law.
The law is the law.
In his opinion, he thought that you guys had violated, in his opinion. So you challenged him on the law because his opinion was, I think you guys have the most egregious.
And we went on the preliminary hearing, and we ended up convicting Richard.
Hell yeah.
Judge Peter Smith, up yours.
Yeah.
Judge Peter Smith, if you're out there, please come by the show and
Yeah, let's get
if
it.
you're around there, come go by the
Yeah,
Scientology
let's go. I'd be
bakery.
willing to take
a
on.
couple of tortas.
I'd be
Yeah.
willing to take him
Account
on.
number 73,479,000 Comet asterisk star.
Matter of
Back-
fact, when
backspace.
Richard got a little upset, there was a deputy marshal named DeLuca, and Richard was always told, "You can look forward, don't turn around. You can't."
Oh wow.
And so,
So they tell a defendant.
yeah, you can't look at the audience. You have to stay.
Oh, and he did.
Well, Richard kept
Why-
looking back, and the marshal came over there and said, "Hey, DePrima was the guy's name." DePrima came over and said, "Hey, turn around. You got to face forward." And he knocked DePrima's hand off his shoulder.
Whoa.
When he did that, DePrima went at him and grabbed him. You don't hit me. Well, now we're in a fight.
Well, you touched him, so it's a fucking strike.
Yeah,
It
so
doesn't matter how
now
hard it is. I
they
think.
drug Richard out of the courtroom.
On the chair.
They just drug his ass
took
out
the
of
fucking
the
chair-
courtroom.
yeah, took him in the-
And
Whoa.
now the judge ran off the bench. He was scared. They took him out, and it was all for naught. Richard was wrong. His assistant,
Richard fucking Ramirez will do all this shit to chicks, man. Like, do his
Yeah.
glasses down and stuff.
yeah,
I mean,
He's creepy as shit.
his legal aid,
Obviously.
yeah.
not the attorneys, his legal aid, Richard
Those two dudes were the Latino guys. They were the-
Hernandez.
yeah.
We used to call them the Hernandi because there were two of them.
Two of them.
They had a
is awesome.
paralegal working with him.
I've never heard that. I didn't hear that on
And
Netflix.
he came over because he thought they were going to be. He came over to jump in and help Richard, and I just looked at him and I said, "Don't do it, brother. I've been waiting for this moment.
Oh wow.
Don't do it, because if he started to move in, then he's mine." And I wanted to kick his ass in the worst way. I really did.
Wow.
And he said, no, it's all, put his hands up, said, no, it's all okay.
What about he saw fucking sat next to him, man? Fucking the Richard, the Night Stalker.
You
Man.
know, so it was,
What do you like? What? Because I believe,
It's
again,
the name, I think.
you get energy off of stuff. Like I said, I got energy as a kid in Dachau and the Scientology, and I personally think you get energy off of people. What the hell kind of energy did you get off of that, of Richard Ramirez?
I didn't get any energy at all.
No?
But he had magnetism. You said that.
He was nothing more than another human. And when Brady goes into a football game, Monday through Saturday, Brady's a dad, an uncle, a buddy. He drinks, he goes to the bars, does whatever. That's just like me. But when it comes Sunday game time and he starts putting on the pads, he gets on the field, it's game time. When I was with Richard, it didn't matter anything that had gone on. It was game time. I went in that room. I knew I had a job to do. He was nobody different.
Did he ever say to you, like, "You're lucky I'm not out there. I'll fuck you up"?
No.
And you
he
ever
didn't.
said, like, "Hey, Rich, you know what? Try it, man. Let's see what you got."
No,
None of
no,
that?
he never did. He never did.
You actually said that when he got caught, that his whole fucking enigma kind of went away, right? Like
Yeah,
his whole
it did.
Like he was out there
mystery
killing
was
people.
gone.
He was. I mean, it was.
Yeah,
I was
terrifying.
out here. It was
It am
terrifying.
what it am. This is who I am.
But when he
You're
got
there.
caught, it was like the balloon. The air got out of the balloon.
Exactly. So, and he was probably one of the most articulate murderers I've ever interviewed. He was good. I was good at my game. He was good at his game. I was better at my game. That's all it was.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Love that.
That's all it was.
I have what might be a boring question, but I'll ask it anyways, and you guys can judge
But listen, if
if
you're
it's
gonna be in
boring.
here, motherfucker, and you've been sitting there for an hour and a half, you're gonna ask a fucking boring question.
It might be boring. I want to give that as a warning. Just the judge.
I gave
that
you my
said-
fucking
I went
warning
to
already.
Dachau. You're talking this shit? Like, come on, bring
dude.
something.
Hey, I got
Fine.
fucking sperm on my fucking
kind of
shirt,
sperm
and this
on
guy's
his
got
shirt?
that
That was a
fucking
great
Night
bit. That
Stalker.
was a great
Yeah,
physical
yeah,
bit.
that
Scientology
was a real-
Tortilla, like I know mob guys. Just fucking bring it.
I mean, fucking
judge.
mobsters, murderers.
What else do you
This guy
want?
wearing a fucking bagel sandwich, fucking on his shirt.
The judge that was a piece of shit. What'd you say his name was?
Peter Smith.
Peter Smith. I've heard various tales about judges being awful, and to me, watching, I'm always like, why isn't there somebody that can reprimand the judge? The judge feels like this weird emperor position, and there's so many shit judges, and it feels like no one can do anything about it, and they just have a job forever.
It didn't matter. He kept the legal grind going. Everything was good. So he didn't throw anything out. And then the final judge in trial was a guy by the name of Judge Michael Tynan, who was great.
Oh, there's a final judge. It sounds like
this was a preliminary hearing. The final judge was Michael Tynan.
Thank God.
What about the dude Larry the Verga?
Good man.
Wait a minute. Okay, go ahead. So what were you saying, Gil?
I was just saying that.
No, what were you saying about that? Is that judge still alive? That judge not alive.
I have no idea whether Peter Smith is still alive. Michael Tynan is still alive, and he's the best.
What's up, Michael? You're the man.
Is Ramirez still alive, or he get the chair?
No, he died June 7th, 2013.
Wow.
It was a day that my grandson graduated from junior high.
Can you have some respect and not say it with a smile on your face?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
I don't have to worry about appeals anymore. It's been adjudicated. He's done. Now he has to meet his maker. Not another appeal.
It was just
Wait a minute, I
weird
got
that
a
you.
call coming in.
Oh.
Hello, hi. Hey, who's there? This is George Lopez.
Hello, this is Richard Ramirez calling from hell. You saw that fucking gordito right there? He's lucky I didn't kill him.
Okay, bye. That was Richard Ramirez calling from hell. And I think he said,
Yeah.
Oye, come up. Hi, it's Gil there. This is Curtis Santana.
can I talk? Okay, here, Richard.
Hello, hi. Is Gil there? It's Richard Ramirez. How's your heart? How's your liver? How's your spirit?
Thank you for calling in, Mr. Ramirez. We really appreciate you calling in the show.
If you could have one piece of memorabilia from the Night Stalker case, would it be his imprints of his teeth? Would it be a pentagram that he drew on that desk? Would it be the two viejas calzones that opened their legs as he walked by? Hey,
Wait, what?
I want the calzones.
he said that this dude had so much. Yeah, motherfuckers, I go live sometimes. He said that Richard Ramirez had so much swagger that sure there's women that might be they're all kind of dumpy, like me, dumpy, kind of half overweight. They look like they might have been athletic at one point. Not as much facial hair as I do. But they're the ones that write guys in prison and say, I'll suck your dick through the glass. Right? I'll blow. You think blowing glass is hard? I'll suck you right through
Makes
that
me
thing.
wish I was in prison.
Hey, listen, you just save your cigarettes, buddy, because I'm going in there. You can buy me for an almond joy. So
That's all I want in life is a girl to just say, I'll suck your dick through the glass.
Through the glass.
Through the glass.
You know what? I'll suck it so hard, I'll make it go back to being sand. Show's on November 4th, but it's not. None of this will be on there. Sorry about that. This is just a different thing, and I hope that NBC doesn't watch this. What's up, man?
Hey, George.
We got to do. You want to ask Gil a question?
Oh, what are you doing?
We're doing the podcast, man. Where you at, dude? This dude's wearing the shit that Graham would wear out there in Chicago in the sun.
I am? Okay. So what's the podcast about?
All right. Yeah. No, we'll fill you in later, man. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. How do I get rid of this dude? No. I'll follow you, man. We'll talk to you later on.
Guys, if you're listening and George gives you a chance to ask a question, you better bring it.
We did a thing versus Hub. No.
Now you guys are against each other.
Ask a question or them to ask a question?
Well, I guess it's the same thing because we're like, who's this dude?
Yeah,
Well, what's your name though?
What's your name, though?
Jason.
Jason.
And what's your podcast about? This is Graham Elwood.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Gil caught the Night Stalker. Richard Ramirez.
Cool.
Did you see that thing?
Cool.
Cool. I like how he said that like, cool.
This guy doesn't wear a fucking shirt. Gil caught the Night Stalker.
Yeah, he goes, cool.
Cool. He doesn't know what the Night Stalker
Hey,
is.
what's up, man? I'm Ethan. How's it going, man?
What's up?
Everything's cool.
I just started going live again on this account, so.
Oh yeah. Why? What happened to the other account? Yeah.
Good night.
All right, there. All right.
Hey, fuck,
we're not
I'm
saying that we don't like that
30
guy.
days off. My Instagram got me.
That was beautiful.
That was beautiful. How do I go live again? Wait a minute. What was I doing?
When he had no question, and
I kinda like that.
all of us at the same time went, all right. Okay. Thank you.
All right, Jason.
Well, I mean,
Appreciate it.
Okay, Jason. I mean, I had questions for you, Graham, if I can ask them.
Sure.
I mean, you are filming a special very soon. How long have you been preparing to film?
I've been.
That's some puto ass fucker.
Sorry.
Go ahead and answer that.
Years? A month?
I was gonna shoot a special in April of 2020.
Okay.
And that got scrapped. And it was I started being about 6 years. I started being more of a political comic, talking kind of like Carlin, how the whole system's broken, right?
Sure.
And then pandemic came, everything got scrapped. So I didn't perform for 16 months like most comics. And then about 15 months ago, I started performing again, and I just started writing. And I've been working on it for about a year. Some of it was older, a lot of it's newer, and I'm shooting.
I like it.
Yeah, I'm shooting it October 26th in Chicago.
Hell yeah.
Tour dates at Graham Elwood.
Well, oh, where?
At Zanies, the original Zanies in downtown. My picture's up there from when I was 22.
What day is that? Dude, you want to go over there, man? If you think.
Wednesday,
Sounds cool.
October 26th.
Hell yeah.
And then I got
Am I working?
a bunch of dates leading up to it. I'm doing New York City the 18th, Madison the October 20th, Detroit October 21st, Cincinnati the 22nd, and then I shoot the special in Chicago on the 26th.
All right.
All right. So where can we put Graham's information so that everybody can see it?
We can put it on the show notes, the description. We can say it right now.
GrahamElwood.com.
GrahamElwood.com. Boom.
Yeah, that's it.
Everybody go check it out.
Yeah.
Sick stuff. And you're doing Political Vigilante.
Yeah, it's political. Yeah, that's my podcast, Political Vigilante and Government Secrets. We actually have 3 shows in Europe as well. Government Secrets. We're doing Stockholm, October 3rd, Berlin, October 5th.
Are you going over there?
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm leaving
That'd
next
be
week.
good for you. Pool, pond. I can.
Pond would be good for you.
So
I
that'd
was in Germany
You know what that
for a
is?
while.
I love Caddyshack. I could quote that whole movie.
I was in Germany for a while, for 6 months.
Okay, so check this out. So not only was he a star detective and looked like Mindy from The Facts of Life, but Gil
I got to go back and
was
watch this doc.
also Gil. And you know what? This isn't even my forte podcast. I just have a beer or two and sit in an uncomfortable position and let them fly till I can not take the sitting on my balls anymore.
You don't have to sit on your balls, by the way.
But this is just the freest form of expression for me. Like, I love it. So but also he was he went to Vietnam. And thank you for your service. Really incredible. Everybody who served in the armed forces, men, women, everyone, and their families. God bless them.
Thank you.
But also, he had an issue. Not an issue. He had an encounter with someone that not many people who are alive could say that they had this exchange with someone.
My old captain, 50
No, the guy at the restaurant in Germany.
Oh yeah, Herr Fosterling. I was there. They had sent me to Germany by mistake because I had requested to go back to Vietnam because I didn't like what was going on in Georgia. They still had racism going on there, and I couldn't go off base. It was ugly. So I go to Germany, and I met friends in Germany. I'd go to this one little discotheque. It was a guest house. And a discotheque. So the bottom was a restaurant, the top was a disco, and it was the smallest legal-sized town in Germany, a place called Prichestadt. So I used to go there. All the other GIs would go where all the whores were. I met a German, an army buddy. Him and his wife were there, so he used to go to this little town over here where there weren't a bunch of GIs. I started going. All of a sudden, one night, I meet Herr Fosterling. The interpreter, the waitress comes up and she says he wants to talk to you. He sat down right in front of me. He says, looking at me eye to eye through the interpreter, he says, I want you to know I was a former SS trooper.
Oh, man.
And I used to kill many a GI behind enemy lines, sometimes with a garrote. What say you?
What's a garrote to people that don't know?
That's a piece of metal wire with two handles on each side. They throw it around your neck and they would pull it tight.
Holy shit.
And that would strangle you immediately. And he says, so at times with a garrote, what say you? And I'm in his German place, and I look at him directly, and we never lost eye contact. I said, I have just come back from Vietnam, where I have had to kill Vietnamese people, where Vietnamese people were trying to kill me. I said, I hope all Vietnamese people don't hate me, and I know I don't hate all Vietnamese people. War is hell, and there are absolutely no winners. You did what you had to do for your country. I did what I had to do. He looked at me and he says, Das ist gut, mein Freund. He was very happy. He stood up through the interpreter. I had to stand up next to him, and he told everybody in the guest house at that night in the disco that I was his friend. I was an American. If anybody didn't like it, step on up one at a time or all at once. We would take him on. And everybody started cheering, so we bought drinks for everybody in the house, and it was like giving me the key to the city.
Hey, man.
But then you followed him out.
And he had a son and he had a daughter.
Well, how physical? Because those, you know, they were specimens, right? The SS.
Yeah.
What did he look like?
He was a big man. He was He was well statured. I was 6'3".
Was he? Oh shit! You were 6'3". What the fuck? Where'd the other?
I was 6'3". You know.
Where'd the 4'2" other 4'2" go?
Yeah. So he was a tall man. He was good, well built.
Was he taller than you?
No, we were about the same.
Okay.
He was well built.
And this is what, 25 years after the war, maybe?
This was in 1969.
Wow. So he would have been maybe in his 50s.
20 years after the war.
Yeah.
And so he just, I learned, he had a daughter that was married to a lieutenant in the United States Army who had never stepped foot in his house, who he hated.
Yeah, of course.
Because his son-in-law had never been to war, nor did he understand anything about war, nor did he understand why the man did what he did. Yet I did understand war, understood the meaning, why we did what we did, and so it was like giving me the key to the city.
But you know what? I'm not condoning we would never, but I think it meant a lot to him. You could say, right? You know, that somebody listened to what he had to say.
Sure.
And didn't say, get the fuck out of here, get away from me, I don't want to see you, you're disgusting.
Right.
He had a story to tell, he told a story, and then he asked you, are you cool with it?
Yeah.
And you said, hey, I'm in the government where I had to do this, I had to do that. And he said, that's good, my friend.
Mm-hmm. That was it. I understood
that's
war,
fucking
so did he.
a powerful
so
exchange.
It was a beautiful, and I could do no wrong in the little town ever since then. You know, the guy was good to me.
That's an amazing experience. And it is true. Like, I don't know, obviously.
Hang on a second, I got a call coming in from the Winter Schnitzel.
Oh, Winter Schnitzel headquarters.
He's getting a lot of phone calls today.
I'll tell him. You can't go to a like the gambler. You can't go to a Winter Schnitzel anywhere in the world.
I'll tell you something
Even
else.
if they open one at sea, you're not allowed to go
I'll tell
into
you
one.
something else about
You are
Venus.
banned from even saying that if you're circumcised, you have a German helmet. You're banned from saying anything.
You didn't even say that.
The guy said that. Wait a minute. Hang on a second.
Oh.
Okay. He told me not to say a thing about the German helmet. I guess he's on a live. They have a live. But
I'll tell you something about Wiener Schnitzel. When you're in Germany, Wiener Schnitzel is veal.
Yeah,
it's a
breaded
veal.
Wait.
Nothing like hot dogs out here.
Wait a minute.
loved
Is
it.
that der V or der We?
No,
It's der Wiener Schnitzel. We changed it to Wiener.
Yeah, Wiener
Wow,
Schnitzel.
I didn't know that.
Hey,
Schnitzel
Wiener
is
If you go to the Wiener Schnitzel, the one on Laurel Canyon, you will shit Halloween candy out from your second fucking Halloween.
Wiener Schnitzel mit Spiebels. That's veal, breaded veal with mushrooms.
Yeah. And sometimes you put some lemon on it. I loved that when I was a little kid.
Oh.
And then when I got older and they're like, that's baby cows. And I was like, oh, that's horrifying.
Oh, no.
Like, first stock cow and now this? Leave me alone.
God damn.
How about this jacket, the black and white print? You like it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I
good.
used to like ein Glas Wein bitte, a glass of wine, please. And ich liebe dich, I love you. I learned how to say that shit in Germany. Mama mia, they didn't understand.
Mama mia, no. Is your mom still alive?
Yes.
Oh, God bless her.
God bless her.
How's she doing with your dad now? I mean, they were divorced, but still a person that you...
My dad was 85. He died 2 years ago.
Oh, he lived
a good life, man. He helped put 4 kids through college. He was he had a PhD, spoke 3 languages.
You guys got along and everything, right?
For the
Yeah,
most
for the
part,
most part, yeah.
I'm a comedian, so
Yeah, I'm sure he didn't. Yeah, I'm sure it's
he like no, it wasn't. He was okay with me being a performer, but you know, most comedians, our home lives weren't
right.
perfect. So
Do you agree with that? That it has to be something that makes somebody go to look for acceptance in strangers.
yeah, I think I mean, are there comics who had really nice childhoods and they were just inherently funny? Sure, I think maybe Jerry Seinfeld might be something like that. But I think
Mario Joyner, since they're attached at the hip.
Yep. I mean, but I think a lot of
got
it
that
comes out of pain. I think a lot of it comes out of something that happened or crazy trauma or abuse. And there's ways, you know, you can go drugs.
Is it because if you throw you in your room and you turn the TV on and something makes you laugh, you're immediately, it's like a blanket or something, right?
Right.
It's that, I think. And also, I was the youngest of four. My dad, you know, drank and could be a rager, and comedy got you out of some jams, you know, when you were a kid. If you're funny, you got out of jams, you know, you learn that. And
So your father was a professor, which probably wasn't afraid to pull a few back.
no, not at all.
Went home, was probably the least interesting part of his day, let's say. He's at school, he's teaching, he's fun, goes home, and then a day, boom, 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 the life hits him. He's like, well, why are you, you know, just...
It's over with.
I think, right? Yeah, I think so.
And also, too, like, he's coming home. I mean, this is the 70s, so my mom didn't work. So there's four kids and a wife. So you work all day, and then you come home. And I mean, I was back in the day where, you know, my mom would say, wait till your father gets home.
Right.
You know, and...
Did you ever see that cartoon? It was awesome.
I hated that. I used to tell my mom, what do you mean? Wait till I get home. You're over 21. Deal with it.
Did you ever see the cartoon Wait Till Your Father Gets Home?
No.
Oh, man. Dude, it was awesome, man. It was a cartoon, man.
That was the name of it?
Called Wait Till Your Father Gets Home. You never saw that?
No.
You were probably in Vietnam at that time.
I probably was.
So, was he, I mean, and then you're a kid, so you don't know if somebody's blacked out. You know they're saying some things that are mean. They're treating your brothers mean. They're treating your mom mean. And you're like, you don't know anything about it. This motherfucker's not going to remember any of this in the morning.
There was, you know, it wasn't, the drinking wasn't that obvious in terms of him, like, being not blacked out. But it was just, there was just some crazy behavior.
Yeah.
Like, that as I got older, I looked back and was like, oh, man, this was... I think it was, we had one of those families, like, from the outside, you would have thought, oh, the Elwoods, they're the theatrical family.
Even the name, the Elwoods.
Yeah.
The Elwoods.
Sounds
you know?
fun.
And I'd say it's like watching a play where you think, oh, boy, that cast must really get along and behind
And
the
then you
scenes.
find out, Wasn't one of the Blues Brothers named Elwood?
Yeah,
Elwood.
Dan Aykroyd.
And not only the Jetsons were the Elwoods.
Oh,
as well.
really?
Yeah.
That's right.
Elroy.
Elroy.
That's close to Elwood.
Yeah.
So
Basically the same.
did you ever watch The Tonight Show? Did you ever want to be on The Tonight Show?
When I was a little kid. So I started watching The Tonight Show, you know, and all the stand-up shows. I mean, so...
What year was that you were watching The Tonight Show?
Probably 77, 78 in there.
Through the 80s and 90s? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I love Johnny Carson. I mean, I fell in love with all those old school comics.
Johnny Carson was, people that don't know, because nobody keeps their job that long, for one.
Right.
That Johnny Carson, David Letterman, I say Letterman, yes. Carson. Also, Gary Shandling was very good on The Tonight Show. God rest his soul. He was very funny, and I think Gary Shandling, to me, should have been the pick. I know Letterman would have been great, but also Gary Shandling was more like Johnny Carson than Jay Leno was. How about Jay Leno did the first Tonight Show without Johnny, never mentioned Johnny at all in the fucking show.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I mean, I don't like Jay Leno. He don't like me. But whatever transpired in our personal relationship, any comedian who grew up watching Johnny, including him, should be fucking embarrassed that he did not mention. I don't know who gave you your advice, but to not mention the guy who created the format, Dick Cavett, of course, you know, Jack Parr. But you go and inherit The Tonight Show, and your first show, you don't mention Johnny Carson. It's awful, man.
And I don't think people, especially younger comics today, don't understand what the Tonight Show. There was 3 channels.
Yes.
And Carson dominated that time slot every night.
Incredible.
Exactly.
And there was no other moment, and you watch that documentary where you hear people like Seinfeld and stuff talk. One guy, he called you to the couch after your set. That was it. You were made.
You were made.
I mean,
man.
your show business career just took off, and there's no other moment
That was that big.
Yes.
Well,
And there
people
might
are
not be.
saying people are saying now it's coming on George Lopez podcast.
No, it's not.
That one. Talk to George.
Okay, so tell everybody again without any interruption how we can find you. Social media is where?
It's go to GrahamElwood.com. I'm at Graham Elwood on all social media. You get all my tour dates. I have a whole October tour, Europe and the Midwest, and then shooting the special October 26th in Chicago. Come out to a show. Follow me. It'd be great to see everybody.
This guy's great. He's fun. He's been incredible his whole career. And
Graham, it
do
was a
yourself a
pleasure.
favor
Thank you, guys.
and go out and see him.